four different intellectual worlds or traditions or fields or disciplines. That the kind of the borders between disciplines is where the exciting stuff happens. And that's just it's a powerful way to think about the world. And where good ideas come from, that part of the thesis there was that innovation generally often happens by kind of borrowing an idea from another field and repurposing it in a new context. So there's like the great example, this is Gutenberg, right? So Gutenberg, in inventing the printing press, arguably with the internet, one of the two most important information revolutions in the history of our species. He had done all this really impressive work with the metallurgy of kind of making the type and also developing inks, the kind of chemistry of the inks so that they would set properly on paper. But what he didn't have was a printing mechanism. He didn't have a way of pressing, imprinting. And so he was kind of stuck. And he ended up just deciding to take some time off and go and drink some wine at a vineyard in somewhere in Bavaria, wherever he was. And he gets up there and he sees this ancient technology, literally like 1,000-year-old technology, the screw press, which was used by vintners to press grapes to make wine. And he looked at it and he was like, oh, there we go, that's what I miss. And so he takes this technology, adapts it for a new use in a completely different field. He basically takes the technology designed to press grapes and turns it into a technology to print Bibles. And it was that migration of an idea from one place to another that was so powerful. And so the metaphor that I used in that book, which I actually borrowed from Stuart Kauffman, the great complexity theorist, is this idea of the adjacent possible, which Kauffman's idea was that this was a way of thinking about change and how the world evolves over time in both biological systems and cultural systems. And the idea is that basically at any given moment in time, whether you're looking at the evolution of life or whether you're looking at the evolution of a technology, there's a finite set of ways that this system in its current state can change. And so when you're back in the early days of the primordial soup, there's no way, these early proto-life forms can suddenly spontaneously turn into a chimpanzee, right? They can't, that's not part of the adjacent possible at that moment. Or if you think about it in terms of technology, however smart you are, there is no way in 1650 to invent a microwave oven. Like, it's just not thinkable as an idea. There are too many building blocks that haven't come along. But at some point in history, in the history of life or the history of civilization,